Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. My name is JP. I'm with UCF IT, and we're going to go through a few different scenarios today on how you can open, save, and download files within UCF Apps. First things first, you'll want to go and actually log into UCF Apps. The website is up here, it.ucf.edu/UCF-apps, or you can also get there by typing apps.ucf.edu. I'll redirect over there. There's a big login button here. You click on that login button. It'll ask you to sign in. You'll want to use your NID at ucf.edu as your username, so whatever your NID is, and your password is your NID password. Once you sign in, you'll get a couple of options. So we have a few apps up here. If you go to your I have recents and I have favorites, if you want to see all the apps that are available to you, just click on apps and all of them will show up here, or view all applications. I've went ahead and made some favorites here. As you can see here, when you click on the little star, it'll add it to your favorites. And so I've added a few things in my favorites to make this tutorial go a little bit smoother today. So the first thing that I will do is, since I'm a student, I'm in research methods and I need to do some work in SPSS, I'll click on SPSS and launch it within UCF Apps. So I'm launching it today. This black screen is okay within SPSS. It typically just means the SPSS is processing. And once you launch SPSS, it'll show up the screen for SPSS. You can close this out unless you know where your files are, but just for the sake of this tutorial, we'll go ahead and close it out. And that'll bring up a normal SPSS window. You'll see I've done a couple other things in the background here. The other things I've done is I've opened up my Knights Mail, my OneDrive, and my Webcourses, just to give you a few different examples of different places you can get your files from and upload your files to. So from here, I'm in SPSS. I'm trying to figure out, how do I use it? What do I do? Obviously, there's a few different ways you can access your files. If there's already a file that you have that you're working from, or that you have to create from scratch, the best way to do that is just create a new file, a new data file. It'll ask you where you want to save it to. Actually, right now it won't. It'll just allow you to just go ahead and start creating it. Then eventually you'll want to, after you make some changes to it, you'll want to save the file somewhere. So if you do save as, you file save as, and it'll give you some options. Now, one of the things you have to remember is that this is a virtual environment, which means that there's certain things that are available on the UCF Apps environment, and there's some things that are available on your PC. One of the key rules for using UCF Apps is your data has to be where UCF Apps is. If you try to do anything off of your local drive, off of a thumb drive, or your local documents or desktop, it'll run a lot slower. And it might be okay for some smaller things like Word documents and maybe even small SPSS data files. But once you start dealing with larger data files, it'll be a little bit more cumbersome and things will take a lot longer, and it may be frustrating. So what I'm going to show you today is how to get your data into UCF Apps so it runs just as fast as if you were in a lab on campus or if SPSS was installed on your computer. So if I go to saving data, there's a few different places that I can save it. We recommend you save to the Knights drive, the K drive. The K drive is a drive that you're given as a student that has quite a bit of space that you can save probably all of your coursework, certainly within a semester. But it only lasts about a year. And so that we can clean things up on our back end, we make sure that we purge that data. So when you're done with your semester, as you wrap up your semester or even wrap up the work you have, we recommend you upload it. And I'll show that in a little bit, how that would work. So if you save it to your Knights drive, we can save this anywhere here. And I'll just call this demo test. All right, so I'm saving this into my Knights drive. Okay, the Knights drive is again a file share. It's available to you anywhere in UCF Apps, and you can close it, come back. As long as you go to the Knights drive, you'll be able to access it again. Okay, so I've saved this file, so good. I'm done there, right? And I can continue to work on it. I can save it, and I'm in the Knights drive, which is great. Okay, so here's something else you can do. Let's say you get something from your instructor, and you need to download it from Webcourses. Okay, so what I've done, again, is gone over here to the Webcourses button, clicked on it. logged in with my knit password, and that gave me a window like this. And I went to my files section. So you can go wherever the files are. Sometimes they're linked within a course. Sometimes they're in the file section of the course. For this purpose, I went to my files because I uploaded a file for SPSS here. So I'm going to go ahead and download it. All right, so what'll happen is it'll download, and it'll download here. It's already downloaded, but it downloaded to a place called Downloads in UCF Apps, which is great because it's in UCF Apps. Remember, we talked again about having it where UCF Apps is and having your data there. So it's there. It's in a Downloads folder. So now from here, you have a couple of options. One of the things that we normally recommend is that you do something called, well, actually, you move the file from your Downloads folder into your Night Drive. The Downloads folder in UCF Apps actually goes away after you're done. So it's basically temporary storage. So you don't want to put anything there and leave it there for a while because most likely it's going to get deleted. So what you'll want to do as you're working through it is, if it's a small data set, click on something called Show Your Folder. And this is the one I just downloaded. Copy this. You can do right click and copy, or you can do Control C. I just did a right click and copy. And you can move it to your, really anywhere, but like we said, save it to your Nights Drive. So that's the best place to go. Click somewhere in your Nights Drive that's available, or you can go through your folders, however you want to do that, and do a paste there. And that way the file will be there and it'll be safe and it'll last a while. And then you can work on it from there. Now, if you have a large data set, actually what we recommend is running it from that Downloads folder. So if let's say I have another version of that file I've already downloaded. So if I go back in SPSS and I want to load that file, I just go File, New, Open, just like you would normally do. And see, right now I'm in the Nights Drive, but if I need to get to where that file was I downloaded earlier, I would go to the Downloads folder. And this is the one that I downloaded a little bit earlier, and let's just pretend it's a big data set. So I can open this data set from here, from Downloads directly, and then it'll bring up the data set, and now I can run, univariate, bivariate, any of the analyses that are in this list, or anything that you're trying to do around SPSS can be done here. And I think you'll be impressed that the speed will be just about as fast as if you used it in the lab from the Downloads folder for large data sets. For small data sets, you're fine running it from the K drive. And in most undergraduate courses, you're probably okay saving it to the Nights Drive and running it from there. But either way, you can run it from the Downloads folder and do your analysis. Just make sure when you're done with that to follow what I said before about going to the Nights Drive and then copying it back over to the from the Downloads to your Nights Drive, if you choose to run something in the Nights Drive and save your results there. But you can always save your results. It doesn't run the results automatically, so you can save your results over to the Nights Drive when you choose to save it, after you finish the analysis. All right, so you have that. You have your analysis complete, or your data files done. Now, what do you do with it? Okay, so I'm done using SPSS. I need to get my files uploaded to my web course or over somewhere else. And this will work both ways. So web courses, same thing has happened before. So if I needed to upload the data set that I did from my Nights Drive, remember I did that demo test, right? So I'm in my Nights Drive. I clicked on Nights Drive, went here. Here's demo test. I just click on open after I click the upload button, and it uploaded it to the web course. And I'm done. It's submitted, my assignment. Hopefully it's a worthwhile assignment and I passed the assignment. But either way, you have it here and you're able to submit it and go forward. All right, so that's web courses. Let's say you want to back it up somewhere into somewhere that you have familiarity and that you can access it somewhere else. So one place might be your email, right? So let's minimize this for a second. Let's bring up our email. Let's see, and I think that's over here. So here's my Nights mail that I'm using for as a student to do my daily coursework, right? And it's pretty. Let's see if I can get rid of this. There we go. So you have this here, and it's basically a normal file. Now you can see here what I did is I sent myself a file. But if I wanted to back up the file that I had before, it's just as simple as opening up a new message, attaching the file, browsing this computer, going to the Nights drive. Right, there's the file I saved before, or if I need to do it from the downloads folder, same thing. There's the file going to the downloads folder using this PC, right? Let's say I wanted to save this one. Okay, I just sent an email to myself and I just say, here's the updated file. Well, send it. Okay. And then you'll see, since I sent it to myself in a second, it's going to show up here. All right, so that's one way to back it up. Another way to back it up is I can go to, actually, let me go back to, I can go to my OneDrive. So to get to the OneDrive, so I have every, I'm not sure you knew this or not, but every student has access to OneDrive, and you have terabytes of storage there. You can use it for backing up everything, your whole college career, and it'll last a long time. That's where I would recommend, if I was a student, that's where I'd go, because I know I wouldn't have run out of space. And it's usually, actually, when I was a student, I backed up everything to OneDrive from semester to semester, so I knew it wouldn't be erased. All right, so to get to OneDrive, you can just, once you log into your email, you just click on this little nine button thing here, and that'll take you to these options, and you click on OneDrive, and then basically what happens here, it opens up OneDrive. And then you can create a folder, do you need to do to upload it, and how you do that is you click upload, files, and then you go to, same thing, here's my updated file set, I click open, and then it'll say uploading over here. You missed it, went really quick. And now my file is saved over here into my OneDrive safely, and I can open this anywhere that I need it. So just to show you one more thing here, I'll just say probably something common you'll get is downloading it from here. So let's say you have this email, the same email from before, right? Very similar scenario. You download it. It's going to do the same thing where it downloads into the corner. You do the show in folder. Okay, this is the second folder. Obviously, I'm using this file a lot. Here's the folder, or the file right here, right? And then again, you can go now into SPSS. You're going to see when I go to SPSS and try to open that file, that data set, it's going to give me all these options if I go to the downloads folder, right? And for larger data sets, again, that's something we would recommend you do, is run it from the downloads folder. But if you wanted to, again, you could go to the again, shoulder folder. So I'm back in my email. I'm going to the document I downloaded. I'm going to show in folder, and I'm right clicking and I'm copying, and then I find Nights drive, and then I'm right clicking and I'm pasting, and then there's my file. And then if I go back to SPSS again, I'm opening the data file that I want to do my analysis on. It's in the downloads folder, but then I need to go back over to the K drive. Down here a little bit, there it is. And there's the one that I saved, which I think was this one. Click OK here. And then again, it opens up, I run my analyses, and it's just the same process over and over. And you have multiple ways to do it by opening up, again, the apps that are available here. There's Webcourses, Nights email. If you want to use something else, you can, once you go to the website that you're in, it is basically a full browser. So I can always create another tab. I can, type this in another email address. Maybe it's my Gmail or my Hotmail or whichever other provider you have, and you can email that there. One note I did want to let you know of is I am using the incognito mode because I work here at UCF. And so because I do that, I have to create a way where I can log into my Nights mail because I have single sign-on enabled. As a student, you won't have to worry about that. But if you do work here and you're a student employee, you may have to do that. And let me show you just really quick how to do that before I sign off today. So if we go to a normal tab here, see if I can find one that's, there you go. Here's a normal tab that's not incognito. Basically what I would do is I would go to this little exclamation mark. Looks like there was somewhere else in UCF Apps there was a new extension added, but there's a button here, either a hot dog or in this case a mark, but it's usually always on the far right side. And you would just open up new incognito window. Okay, so I know that was a lot, and I know we went through a lot of different scenarios. There is a knowledge base article that summarizes a lot of these topics, which is over here. If you go to it.ucf.edu, and you click on get the help you need, there's a little search bar here. Almost everything that we have in UCF IT that we have services around has documentation for it. So for example, if you wanted some more tutorials on how to use UCF Apps, just type in UCF Apps. And what that'll do is it'll bring up a window like so. And there's all the options, and the file or the article that actually we talked about today, you can use here. It's KB 0011262. And this one will basically take you through all the scenarios we talked about today in a little more detail, and shows you screenshots and things like that. Also, you'll be able to learn, if you haven't, to the point maybe you're watching this video and you haven't ventured in UCF Apps yet, this shows you all the ways you can install it. And you can see there's a workspace app on almost every device. But again, you can also do it through the browser, which is this whole tutorial. You can look and see how well it went. I did all of this in a web browser. So either way, you'll have access to your files. You'll have access to your coursework anytime, anywhere, on any device that you want to use. So thanks again for spending some time today, and I hope this helped you navigate UCF Apps a little better. Have a great day, and probably we'll have some more tutorials soon. Thanks.